Hello and welcome to the Thai food recipes. Today I'm going to show you on how to make Thai spring rolls, which is one of the most famous Thai dishes. Let me show you the ingredients I'll be using today. Starting with 500 grams of ground pork, shredded carrots. Here I use 2 big carrots. And next is sprouts. I use 200 grams of sprouts. And next is 80 grams of glass noodles. I left it for 15 minutes in the water and then I cut it in around 2 inches long. I also used 2 eggs. These ones are small eggs, but when you have 1 large egg, then just use 1 large egg. This one is cilantro roots. I found it in the Asian store, but if you don't have it, then you can just use the coriander seeds. It's also fine as well, but when you have the roots, you take it and then you smash it. Now I'm showing you the one that I have done already. This one is the smashed cilantro roots that I have done, and right next to it is actually smashed garlic. Next is cilantro. I used it extra just because we love it here at home, but if you don't like it, don't use it. If you want to use it, you can chop it into around 1 centimeter long. This one is actually chopped spring onions. You can see how small it is that I cut it. Next is ground white pepper, but if you don't have it, black peppers also work just as well. And this one we cannot forget, the spring rolls wrapped. You can find it in any Asian store, I believe. You just have to look, there are different sizes. And here are the sauces that I use. This one is oyster sauce. I use this brand. And this one's soy sauce that I use. And the next one is sugar. First, you start with putting the oil in the pan. I used around 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of oil, I believe. And you want to pour it there and wait until it's hot. Once the pan is hot, you want to put the garlic and coriander into the pan. At this moment, you want to stir it for about 3 to 5 seconds, just to cook it a little bit before you put the meat in. After a few seconds, you want to put the pork into the frying pan, and of course you want to break the meat a little bit like what I'm doing right now. After a few minutes, when I see the meat are pretty much cooked, now I'm putting 1 tablespoon of soy sauce into the pan, and then also 1 tablespoon of oyster as well. After the sauce, now you want to put carrots into it. This is my shredded carrots I'm putting in the pan, and of course I'm moving it a little bit to make some space for my sprouts. And here comes the sprouts. You want to also move it a little bit more to make some space. It's just because my pan is quite small. I think I made a wrong decision with the pan again, but it's okay. Once there is a little bit more space, now you put ground pepper into it. I know I put a lot, but it's just because I'm Thai and I enjoy the spices. But for those who don't like it, you don't have to put this much like I do. Now I'm putting the glass noodles, and then spring onions that I have chopped, and of course cilantro into the pan. After a few minutes, now I'm putting my eggs into the pan as well, and you want to move everything and of course mix everything all together at this moment. Now after everything is cooked, you want to taste it. I did, and I choose to put only half a teaspoon of sugar into the pan. And now you want to leave it to sit for about 30 minutes to 1 hour just to let it cool down before we work with it. Here I'm showing you how to take the spring roll wrapped out of package, and when you want to separate it from each other. You have to be very gentle with it because it's very easy to break, and of course you want to have a wet towel right next to you so you can put it on it and our wrap doesn't get dried out. Here's how you want to put the wrap on the table. You want to have the corner facing towards you, and you want to take only 1 spoon of our stuff onto the wrap, and I would say around 1.5 inch from the corner. And now when you roll up, you want to make sure that it's tight but not too tight, because you don't want to break it when you fry it. And once when you reach the middle of the wrap, you can fold each side in like what I'm doing right now. And I just realized I forgot to tell you about the glue. You can use either egg white or you can mix white flour with water. You can use either one of them as glue for the spring rolls. For mine, I use flour and water mixed together, and that's it. It's my glue. So you can dip it with the finger and then put it on the top in the corner. You don't want to put too much in it, because then it will get too wet, and then when you fry it, it doesn't look that good. And then here it is. This is my spring rolls. It takes a little bit of practice to make it look good, but I'm sure all of you can do it. After spending a lot of time wrapping, now it's time to fry. You can use the wrap to taste if the oil is hot enough when you pop it in the pan. If it blows up like that, then it's good. And now I'm putting my spring rolls into the pan. I forgot to say that you want to use around medium-high heat. You don't want to use too high, because then the wrap gets cooked and basically burned too fast, and inside is not crunchy enough. At this moment, I'm suggesting you to keep moving the spring rolls, because you want it to be nicely golden brown both sides, not just one side burnt and the other side is not cooked. So please keep an eye on your spring rolls that you don't burn it. And here's what happened when you leave the spring roll sit. I have some burnt colors on my spring rolls, and it's actually my mistake. Well, it's okay. Now you have a pretty much nice golden color on the spring rolls. You can take it off and put it on the paper towel. And here's our finished spring rolls. I guarantee you it will taste very, very delicious.